Okay, Eric here with TailoredTrader.com. Today is Monday, December 11th, about 7:51 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, New York City time. We have the first closing bar of this week. What I'm going to do in this video is going to be going over some quick technical analysis, monthly and weekly levels inside of the currency pairs that I track. This is the list of them here to the right. I day trade exclusively in my day trading room. You can visit TailoredTrader.com, the Euro, USD, and the USD JPY. And I'm pretty much setting up swings, which I am offering also inside of the day trading room, or setting up potentially in the day trading room. But then I also offer them out on the Telegram app. If you download that app in the App Store, you can download that and you can get the feed to that. And you can also visit TailoredTrader.com. To get more information on that, maybe towards the end of the video, I will take you there. I want to do as much as I possibly can in this video, potentially under 30 minutes. So I'm going to try to do my best to just give you or explain my weekly and monthly levels going forward for this week. But of course, the setups are going to happen inside of the day trading room and also in that Telegram app, messaging app. So you have to subscribe, of course, to those to get the alerts. So again, due to time, I'm just diving right in to the technicals. All right, I have Euro USD right here in front of me. This is going to be regarding the monthly, weekly, daily time frames only. What you see in front of me obviously is the monthly chart. The key takeaway from monthly charts is going to be mapped out in orange lines. All right, so everything that you see in orange is going to be regarding the monthly time frame, highs, lows, technical price points, etc. Everything that you see in yellow is going to have to do with the weekly time frame, and that goes across the board on all these pairs. And that's pretty much all I'm going to do in this video for now. As you know, you'd have to catch me in that day trading room for, of course, the signal that will happen on Wednesday. I don't know when signal is going to happen, so this is just regarding the technical analysis levels of what I'm looking at. All right, so orange is monthly, yellow is weekly. So far right here, the Euro USD monthly bar, the last month of November, we closed engulfing on the previous monthly's bar. We kind of held up these prices up here. So far, real quick, the quick takeaway is I'm still going to be looking for any types of long and shorts within this monthly bar range going forward toward the end of the year. All right. I'm going to have to drop down the weekly and daily to kind of give you some more information. But, you know, even if we drop down below and make a new low this week, you know, we're coming down into, at least for me, some weekly and monthly levels that we would have to really take out with some authority for some quote-unquote crazy shorts. For me, the Euro USD has been stuck in a range for quite some time, years, if you really go back, okay? This is the first breakout based on my experience, based on my perspective, that we've had in a long time. But as you can see, the Euro being the Euro, it's kind of finding a new kind of range up here after the breakout. So again, real quick, already probably spending too much time on the monthly bar on the Euro USD, but we are inside of it's an inside bar setup on the monthly bar, okay? So again, probably expect some kind of range, a lot of back and forth. Just be careful. You may want to save yourself for the extremes out here. But for the time being right now, real quick, from that monthly high to low, that's kind of being put in right now, from this monthly low to this monthly high, we are kind of holding up a 50% retracement mark in that, being about 1750, call it. Okay, so we are trading off of that, or above that, I should say, and I'm down on the weekly time frame now, and we do have another weekly low that I was looking at a couple weeks ago, and it also is a significant level on the monthly price chart. So again, there's a couple of support zones that I'm looking at right here, potentially. Not sure if there's going to be a bounce trade off this or not. Can't really make a call about a long anywhere down here. If we do break these levels up, we're probably going to be looking at lower prices in the Euro. Higher up, and you can see even on the weekly so far, I know this is earlier in the week, but I'm expecting even some range bound on this week to kind of fill this inside bar. This is an inside bar setup, at least again for the first day. I know it's not too much to speak about right now, it only being Monday. But so far what we reacted off of today, where I kind of took profit, where I could show you kind of where I even accumulated and then started to take profit in the room as well. I had a retest level in the weekly time frame at 1809, which was 2 weeks ago low, and it broke last week, and I just used that, at least for today, Monday session, as a resistance zone, which happens to be today's high as well. So again, not much to really talk about so much on the euro so far. I was expecting this Friday's doji bar right here. So this is Friday's doji bar coming off of a week euro week. All right, now keep in mind this is still inside bar set up on the monthly. So this low to this high is monthly high to low. So we're retracing, and again, this is going to be around the 50% mark on the monthly bar setup. All right, so we do have one reversal bar put in so far for December, making the second week, and that's going to be this bar right here. So this was kind of my setup for this morning, taking a add-in long and taking profit at 1809 area, which you see here. All right, I'm already spending too much time on the euro here, kind of getting into too much detail. But for the week going forward, especially with this kind of zone that it just put in for today, you know, careful of breaks below here, but again, there's a lot of support levels right here. So again, I'd probably have to really see these levels get taken out lower here. And you know, today, if we start to hold back above this week, you know, I could potentially see some longs being triggered over here with some 4-hour engulfing or pin bars, etc. Either way. So I talk about that more inside of the room, but this is going to kind of be my new field of breakout zones for the EU for this week. And keep in mind that this is the week, last week's high. Everything within this zone for me is going to be inside bar set up on the weekly. So you kind of have permission with that unless we break a new low here. But again, we have those technical levels there that I mentioned. So you're gonna have to really track the euro and be careful because of this range potentiality. But there is some day trading opportunities that could potentially be setting up. Or if we start to really break above these inside bar setups on the monthly and the weekly, we could see probably a bigger move out of the euro. But tomorrow will be interesting to see if we kind of fill this wick up higher. You can see kind of my day trading work that I've done here today, but I have to move on. I already spent probably too much time on just that one pair there. So a little bit of range expectancy in the Euro USD, at least from my perspective. The yen is the second, the USD GBP is going to be the second kind of pair that I exclusively day trade in the room. I have to go a little quicker here. Now this is a little bit of a more range-bound market for me. It has been since kind of the US new president Trump came in. That was like the last big kind of move that we had. But since then, we've kind of been, again, just like the kind of the Euro USD, just been ranging on the kind of monthly, weekly perspective. All right, real quick, we did spike down last month. All right, we're coming back in, and we're just kind of trading right back inside of the past 3 months range. So I don't want to talk too much time about that so much. Just be careful in the yen going forward for the remainder of the month of December. And even the weekly, there's really no weekly bar set up so much. We have a couple of resistance zones fulfilling the range up here. I just want to stay out of the way of this pretty much, and pretty much only intraday trade this, taking pretty much, I don't want to say scalps, but taking intraday trades. And for me, that could be anywhere between 7 pip targets to 37 pip targets, depending on the trading day. But I base all my day trades off of monthly, weekly, daily as well, and I have a day trading trigger. And of course, a strategy, of course, to trade with that. But last 2 weeks ago was actually, not to be Mr. Hindsight, we had a kind of an engulfing bar for me set up, and we just whip filled, and we had some continuation prices. I was actually looking for a target last week, which could be met this week, by the way, at 113.91-ish. But again, we'd have to drop down to the daily time frame for that. You kind of track that. We dojied a little bit on that, depending on what your definition of a doji is. But not the strongest candle. But again, I have permission to go long here, have a weekly target to kind of fill that wick on the weekly time frame at 113.91. I'm not going to be looking short this, which still is not even a good short for me. Even below this wick, there's going to be a couple of retest levels down here. So again, I just expect the yen to be kind of bopping and weaving in here. It's going to be, for me, going to be more of a day trading market as I treat it anyways. So sorry, there's not a lot to do on that, but it's just more of the market, or the yen, I should say. Okay, so the pound, actually, we were in a big range in the pound not too long ago. If you guys paid attention to the monthly time frame, we kind of tweezer bottomed on the monthly time frame and finally broke out of this. That's hindsight. But what I'm looking for going forward, all right, and this is kind of the things I look for, is the monthly, weekly ranges, and then you get engulfing bars and continuation patterns, breaking them. So what we have here is We just have that break, that monthly and weekly break that finally broke out a new monthly high. All right, but now we're just retracing. I'm actually looking for a better, deeper retracement price. I think I mapped it out on this chart over here, closer to, if this weekly level gets taken out at the 133.20, I'm going to be looking at the 132.13 area right in here. But again, it's kind of a little rangy. There's better setups. I'd rather trade the pound New Zealand, pound Aussie against these pairs, as the New Zealand and the Aussie are a little bit weaker. I could talk probably more about that when I get to those pairs. But if this weekly range or if this weekly low gets taken out, I'll be looking for the lower levels down here and maybe catch some daily doji candles down here potentially, if that were to happen. And again, why am I looking at that? I have a monthly retest and a monthly opening price, again, at the 1.3280. So again, either this weekly low holds out on the GBP USD, in which I will take daily dojis or break aboves on the daily dojis if we get that, or I'll be looking at the 3280 for something like a doji like that. But that was more news based out of the pound. So that's a little bit weird of a technical analysis pair for me. But the monthly looks pretty great, breaking out to the upside. We're just in some really we're almost fading that whole monthly bar, at least the body of that bar. So take a peek at the daily and the 4-hour bars around these lower levels on the monthly, weekly. That's what I'll be looking for. I'm going to skip over the euro pound and the pound yen just for now. Those are two pairs. I maybe can get back to them towards the end. I can kind of feel like I'm taking a little bit too much time versus kind of fill in as much information as I possibly can. So I have on the month, the USD CAD has been pretty interesting due to the fact of the monthly bars that it's been kind of putting in recently. So again, we're coming off of a monthly pin bar reversal a couple months ago, and all we did was kind of fill this space up here. I had 129.46 as the next monthly target if we broke above this, which we did, but we never really got here, and we kind of put in a new monthly high that's been used for the past 2 months, as you can see. So far this week, this month, we really retraced down, and this is kind of what I look for, these fake outs here. You can see it spiked down a new monthly low, but it was a fake out. All right, so kind of just take a mental image of this monthly bar. For me, in my perspective, I had this weekly, so it was a monthly pin bar that closed with a wick on the bottom, but on the weekly time frame, you have a couple of weeks where it just based sideways, all right? And then last week we had news come out on CAD, Canadian dollar, all right? It spiked down, faked out, and then we just fulfilled, faked out a lot of traders, and then it fulfilled this new, or I should say, it fulfilled its, just coming into the range of the week and not breaking a new monthly high or really a new monthly low. We did fake out down here on the monthly, but we did find some kind of support on the weekly time frame, and we broke back out to the upside, coming back up to the higher of its range. So basically what I'm looking for this week is this range going to potentially break out and hit this target of 29.46, where we'll probably have another kind of series of probably dojis up here, or are we going to not do that, hold up these levels, and potentially start to break down below these daily dojis, all right? Because this is a range on the monthly and weekly, all right, which obviously is going to be a range on the daily as well, but it's going to be a pretty decent market to trade potentially, depending on if we're going to be breaking out higher, making new highs, or if we're just going to go lower, coming back down into its weekly, monthly range. Now, the interesting fact about this is going to be this bar right here. We have a doji inside of a doji. So if we start to break below this would be an inside bar break setup if we break below this mother bar. Same case for the long side. So the irony in this is going to be, again, this is more swing oriented. You may be able to take some breakouts, scale out on some targets out here, and then maybe wait out for the higher level if that's the style that you wanted to do. Again, or we have a multiple bar, inside bar setup. If we do break below that, we could potentially be seeing some lower prices, just fulfilling its range lower, which it has been for the past going on almost a month and a half at this point, couple weeks. All right, so just be careful within these two daily bar ranges. You definitely want to be careful with getting trapped on the inside of these ranges. So I'd probably just wait for these levels to kind of hit one way or the other. And that's the monthly, and of course I'll be in my room tracking that. So that's the CAD. And again, keep in mind that the bar on the bar so far, the monthly bars on the CAD, they're all wicking to the bottom, which potentially signals upward pressure, right? Because the bulls are taking it back up now. But just keep in mind, we're only the first, I should say, second week into the month of December. So this could still be a fade, meaning the other way. It's just too early. That's why the daily time frame is in the week. The weekly and the daily time frame is really going to help you out. In this case, the daily time frame for this week, as last week we've kind of made a nice washout bar, which we have been for the past 2 weeks. Okay, Aussie USD for me has been quite simple. It's just been fading since this pin bar reversal right here, not on the September monthly bar of 2017 right here. You see that wick up here. So that's just clearly a reversal bar. Washed out traders went out, it broke new monthly highs, came to another monthly area, okay, higher up on the extreme, which hasn't been tested yet, and then printed a reversal bar. Since then, it has just been 2.5 months of just getting kind of, I don't want to say slaughtered, but just getting sold off, okay, with these red bars, of course. I had a couple of monthly targets, of course, lower. That's the thing, when you track monthly bars, okay, once this pin bar reversal actually went and kicked off, you know, I had monthly targets in my room down here at 75, 73, all right, so that was pretty much an easy fade against these monthly bars for the Aussie USD, all right. I have ultimate targets on the monthly fulfillment down here, 74.30s, starts there. So, you know, I expect, you know, some more further, of course, bearish pressure on the Aussie USD. I have this ugly trend line. I'm not really a trend line trader, but I just put that there just because to show some kind of confluence, etc. I'm more of a level to level trader, all right, with price action candlestick patterns. Well, I don't really want to say pattern, but I guess that's the cliche word to say. But anyways, we already had the cool thing about the Aussie, it was already trading up here in these on this monthly. So we opened down here and we already tested its monthly range, put its a weekly and daily wicks up here, and got kind of crushed down. So let me go to the weekly chart. So if you kind of remember that. So on a monthly downtrend, you just keep track of your weeklies and your dailies. And if you don't have any inside bar break reversals candles, then the continuation should continue down to the downside. What do I mean by that? What I mean by that is every big drop on the weekly time frame that we've had in the Aussie USD has just been followed through with a consolidation bar, not breaking a new high at all, actually having the whole bar kind of be inside of the mother bar, which I call it. We've had a couple of these setups. We have one here, mother bar, inside bar break. And then this formed a new mother bar, and then we had 2 weeks of inside bar, and then this week right here was finally the break of the mother bar. So I expect, and again, I can't go into detail, it's beyond the scope of this, all right? You can catch me at TailoredTrader.com if you want more, but basically this is just another mother bar setup. So I expect the Aussie to just kind of grind against this new potential mother bar. If not, then it'll just pick up momentum and get down to my monthly target at 73.30, which I just pointed out on the monthly chart. So just watch out for fades, all right? Look for, what I'm going to be looking for, if you kind of remember this. So here's the new monthly high, the new weekly high. Notice how the Aussie spiked up a new weekly high against these two weekly highs, but it never broke out against the mother bar high. This is the mother bar. So when this put in, these are the two bars here inside this mother bar, all right? So although it did spike out a new two monthly high, it broke out against two previous weekly highs, okay? It never broke monthly mother, oh my God, I keep saying monthly. It never broke above the mother bar, okay? So it never did that. That in my book is a fakie. There was a daily reversal up here as well, and it dropped down. So I'm gonna be looking, I know that's hindsight, but the reason why I say that is because we have the same potentiality up here against these levels, okay? I have a monthly retest level here, all weekly highs, all right? I have a weekly retest right here at 75.51, which we tried to chug to get there today. But basically, this is going to be a zone where you really want to keep an eye on for Aussie. Probably looking at, this may not be, there's not a weekly bar set up here just yet. As you can see, it could take 2 weeks or so, or a week to really have that happen. But we'll have to keep a track of that. Okay, off that weekly bar, this is something that you'd want to see. See this doji right here, and that is tagging. It's still inside the mother bar weekly, and it's tagging those resistance zone, closes a doji, and then you got your break continuation. All right, but no follow through. We actually dojied here today. We broke above it, so expecting some kind of retracement. I don't pinpoint a price. I wait for the prices to come. Look at the bars. Either enter on while I have execution. You're gonna have to just check me in the room on that. I cannot explain that, but this is kind of going to be my zone. Somewhere around here, we have to really look at the daily bar formations and how the next week or two may or may not, how the next week or two may form or may not form, depending. All right, if we do get some consolidation and break lower, then we just kind of go with that momentum, as there's nothing to really stop that price down till, at least the 74.50 area. All right, let me go to the New Zealand because I probably took way too much time on the Aussie. All right, the New Zealand is going to probably hopefully be a little bit quicker for me. The interesting thing about the New Zealand dollar is going to be that it's almost kind of the same formation as, can't really say that, but last month, although we had this huge upward bar that closed and slammed down, coming down to its weekly range. The irony is it came off of a monthly doji bar break. So again, if you're looking at the higher time frames, it kind of shows you kind of where you need to be. Right. So, but what we have here, as this was going to be a break of a monthly doji bar. So, and then it fulfilled this literally to the pip down to the next monthly level, breaking from this monthly level. So, monthly to monthly, what we have going forward, I have a monthly level down here that I was expecting to get hit, but it hasn't got hit yet. And the irony is that we closed as kind of a little bit of a doji, and we never hit this target. So. And as you can see, so far for this month, we've been kind of chugging and fading this whole this monthly bar setup. Now, not the crazy things, but 69.80 is going to be, if we break above that, you could start to see a bigger push on the New Zealand, maybe targeting the next monthly retest levels up here. These are monthly retest levels. These orange broken lines here. But again, that's not going to happen until we break above that. So it's going to be interesting to see how this kind of formation on the weekly time frame, it's going to be inside bar versus inside bar. So again, I have to kind of be quick with this. Here's my mother bar. I circled my mother bar. This is this is 4 months. 4 months. 4 weeks. Sorry, guys. 4 weeks. My mind is going very quick. 4 weeks of inside bar setup. We faked out just a little bit here, all right, but basically I'm looking for a breakout of this inside mother bar, which we haven't really gotten, this mother bar is actually going to be the current monthly low. Now, the only thing about this setup is, although we have a monthly bar, mother bar break, we have this monthly high sitting right there. So for me, unfortunately, I'm going to be using this kind of as a dead zone, although this is a mother bar weekly break. This is going to be a little bit of a dead zone for me, where I'll be probably looking potentially being careful of potential daily fake out spikes and to come back down into its range. So I expect a little bit more range bound activity for the New Zealand dollar. I'm not going to be going crazy long or anything like that unless we break above a new monthly high being the 69.80. And also I'd be even careful with that because we have a weekly high right there, so there could be a little bit of wick action back and forth. Now the New Zealand is a little bit more of a consolidated pair, so just be careful within these ranges. For now, for me this week, I'm treating this as a little bit of a dead zone, meaning potentially waiting for or selling intraday against 4-hour bar reversals and my day trading trigger, if I get that, all right? I will also go long as well in here, so I'm probably treating this more of a range bound market. But again, this is more of a swing pair for me, so I'm probably going to be looking at just going long above that new monthly high, as this mother bar is sitting right there. But again, we have that monthly zone, kind of dead zone right in here. So just be careful in New Zealand. Actually, there's probably a good long setup right here intraday. So yeah, it pretty much is. So we have, as you can see so far, we wick down, all right? So there's actually, if this 4-hour bar closes, so here's a little, if you want to take it up to these levels, 43 minutes away from this 4-hour bar closing, this is exactly what I want to see. If this bar closes, engulfing previous of this bar, all inside of this bar setup after this fakey breakout here, you know, you might be able to have a little trade on your hands for this night session, or at night for me at least. Here, okay? So 43 minutes for this close. You could probably target out, at least scale out, target 169.27s, 30s, and then maybe go for that weekly target at the 69.38. So notice 4-hour bar potential engulfing of this inside bar here. All right, so that's a little bit of a trigger, and you'll be going with, oh yeah, that's a setup there. Yep, okay. Now we'll just be fulfilling that. I'd take profit a little bit, or scale out with some before a new daily high. You may not get that, but then I'll be targeting out on that weekly high as well, if that would happen. All right, Euro Aussie. I might only be able to get down to Euro Aussie, Euro New Zealand, and Euro CAD. I really don't have any setups just yet in the pound. I may just do another video tomorrow to separate them. So the Euro Aussie is actually on my radar for this week, or even this month. Actually, I'm trying to get entry for this month. Last month, I actually missed the Euro Aussie trade. I don't want to sound Mr. Hindsight. I don't want to take too much time right here, but basically last month was an amazing month for the Euro Aussie. So I actually missed the trade by a couple pips, which I'm not too happy about, but it happens. It is what it is. So far this month, we closed. We just blew out of this monthly target that I had as I was trying to accumulate down here in the weekly time frame. All right. But anyways, going forward, we blew out this. All right. We made a new monthly high, of course. But so far for this first week, beginning the second week, we're retracing. Now, are we going to retrace? Here's the question. The question is going to be, are we going to retrace down to this 153.93, which I have as last or 2 months ago high as a broken retracement monthly level, or are we going to hold up these new formed weekly levels up here? That's going to be kind of the question. For me, I'm not looking at any type of like shorts against the Euro Aussie, just because this thing has is coming. Just to be quick with it, it's a very range-bound pair. All right, it's coming off of the low, and you know, I am not here to find where the high is, given the fact that the Euro Aussie spikes up and below these cross pairs spike. So I'd rather be a part of the spike on the right side, as opposed to shorting against a market that could just spike on me kind of like one way or the other. But the momentum is to the upside. We have all these engulfing bars, or wick retest. I'm sorry, the engulfing bars are on the weekly. We have all these monthly retests, all right? So the pattern has been for the past, basically for this half of the year so far, has been retracements on the monthly and weekly, and then just getting on board for the long side. So I have 53.93 for basically sitting there as a monthly retest price that I'm looking for. And or these new formed levels that are forming right here on the weekly time frame. All right, so these could be a little bit of fake out action right here. For this week, I am going to be looking to potentially get long if we do break above this bar here. All right, I'll be targeting out, of course, at least TP1, TP2 at these levels, and then looking for an extension out of there. If we do drop below here, I just almost have to let that happen. All right. I'm not going to short this market, all right, giving the weekly and the monthly, but I'm going to be looking, I really want this retracement down here, but the more time that this kind of takes, we have to be breaking these weekly lows, so I have to kind of almost take this week by week, day by day, which I know kind of doesn't do much for, the YouTube channel for right now, but again, trading, I just can't make a video on Monday and say what's going to happen. You have inside bar setups each day, etc., taking me to the level each level. So I'm going to see how these prices react at these weekly lows down here. If not, cut and then begin to take some levels down here at this monthly retracement bar here, or monthly retracement price. All right, so a little bit of range bound activity here. The one thing I don't like about this is we're kind of putting in a new pivot here. So when you get a pivot, when you get new pivots inside of monthly and weekly highs, like kind of like a new high, right, or a higher high, and then we have a lower high. Right now it's kind of pinching, but again, that could change this week. That's just what the chart looks like today. But because of that, I have to be careful as this is kind of getting balanced here, all right? Again, you have to probably wait for that bar to break out to the upside. But again, just be careful within this range. I have to wait for the upper or lower. I'm going to be looking to accumulate down here. I'll be really looking for 4-hour and daily bar setups down at these prices here. Okay, so that's pretty much all I can say on that for now. And again, just keep in mind, guys, all right, this is the second week, just Monday on the second week. We have 3 more weekly bars to close this monthly bar. That's how I play it, okay? That's how I trade, all right? I try to set up my swings via monthly and weekly. I'm stopping myself each time for going in deeper on how to treat almost like each candle, which candles to ignore, which ones to pay attention to, etc. But it's just beyond the scope of a free YouTube channel as things change. All right, so now the Euro New Zealand, the New Zealand is a little bit stronger than the Aussie, right? So now you can see that, kind of the reasons why for at least for this against the Euro Aussie, if you're looking at the Euro Aussie, the Euro New Zealand, this is a little bit weaker because New Zealand is a little bit stronger with that monthly bar setup, if you remember. All right, so what I'm looking for here is, but even though we're coming back and we're retesting last month's opening price, all right, so that's always going to be a level in my book. We have a couple of weekly levels down lower that I'll be looking at as well. I really like this level right here, this value area, this monthly 69, call it 67 even, all right? So 67 even is going to be a monthly retrace level supported with a couple of weekly lows and also that monthly low there. All right, so when I drop down to the weekly, I really like this. Setup. So I'll probably just do Euro New Zealand and Euro CAD. Euro New Zealand, I'm going to be really looking at this level right here. This big level. Like I just mentioned there, this is where that level that I just mentioned, that kind of like value area on the monthly chart. So beginning at 68.90, pretty much down to 67-ish, supported by that monthly low there. I'm going to be really looking for some bars, some weekly bars, some daily bar reversals to kind of press. All right. So this is the third week that I'm getting a retracement back into my monthly level on the New Zealand. Now, what I would love to have happen, all right, in which the kind of the bar is setting up as well, is the euro gaining strength from its kind of mid-range, and then the New Zealand not break that new monthly high. And that would support this trade by a lot, okay? Now, again, I don't want to go too far in the future, things like that, but just, I guess you could take a snapshot of these levels. I'm going to be really looking at engulfing bars. You see this kind of inside bar break reverse setup, all right? Some people call that a 50% piercing line, etc. I'm going to be looking for reversal bars anywhere down on this level. All right, so you could kind of catch me in the day trading room or visit the Telegram group or visit the website for the Telegram group. All right, but again, 69.90 begins this price point where I'm going to be really hawking the Euro New Zealand. And again, that's based off the weekly time frame. All right, coming back and retesting that doji price there, where that breakout kind of happened. All right, we do have a little bit of shorts being set out, so we have an inside bar weekly. All right, it just broke this mother bar here, so I'm sure there's room to go. Of course, if I'm waiting for the long, you may not say why don't I just short it down there? So that's going to be kind of a counter trend move for me. I have no problem taking counter trends like day, but on the monthly and the monthly bar going against that, coming down into these levels, I would kind of already have to be short and at least scaling out on this extension lower. This is the first break that we've had in quite some time. All right, so I typically don't believe the first break. I'm sure this may retest on these levels up here. It may be a decent short to take down to these levels, but I'm going to be waiting and looking for a reversal down here. Again, if those weekly bars sets up. All right, so I probably spent too much time there. I do like how it is respecting its weekly. So you can see on the 4 hour, we have a weekly break here. Then it was used as a 4 hour high point against this open space. So new zone. I wouldn't be surprised if we get a new 4 hour break lower here. Okay, so this is probably going to have to be the last pair that I have to analyze. I only have 3 more left after this. Again, it's not that high quality for a weekly setup. 2 weeks ago was really prime. Not to sound like Mr. Hindsight, but I'm probably going to do another video tomorrow where maybe I can fill in the pound Aussie, the pound New Zealand, pound CAD, and then maybe, since it'll be part 2, I guess, I can fill in a little bit more detail or have more information of maybe what trades I got in, if any of these triggered. But again, on the monthly time frame on Euro CAD, this retraced a significant amount as well. All right, have a new, that monthly low is not down until there. We have a weekly fake out, and it printed kind of a pin bar. All right, so this was last week's or 2 weeks ago low. We snapped down and then kind of reversed out of nowhere. I was looking at these prices down here. Never happened. Snap back up and printed this weekly bar as kind of like a pin bar. So again, if we get a break above here, it's an uptrend, upward momentum, right? If you're shorting this pair, just be careful. All right, just be careful. You're against the monthly and weekly time frames, but there could be a short because this could just fade this whole bar here. All right, so this is pretty simple. This is a weekly bar, pin bar setup where we have a little bit of a weekly fake out there. All right, just putting it simply, potentially could be filling this space above here. If we get that, all right, at least targeting this 52.82 as a monthly retracement level. And then if we're going to revisit this new monthly high that it just put in for this month, great. That may or may not happen. Just be careful with this space down here below, okay? This is nothing on the weekly. This is basically, you're going to be basically down to trading dailies at this point. But with this kind of new level right here, this could be used as a potential now new weekly kind of low as a potential range, because this pair likes to find ranges inside of itself. So just like something like we have a spike down here, a new level, and it made a new level and respected it here, could be happening right here. So this is kind of the new level that I'll be looking at. If not, I'm going to be looking at the next level down here. Shorts for me, not my style so much, especially last week when we closed as a pin bar. So for me to short, I need a kind of weekly setup. I need a weekly bar setup, typically and preferably at a weekly or monthly range or price point on a monthly at least. So for me, that's not happening. Shorts are not happening for me. Swing, I'll be waiting for pullbacks, longs, depending on how these bars confluence at those time and price when those happen. So again, just keep in mind, this is just a guide, all right? So I'll have to, you have to kind of keep in tune. I'm going to be doing videos every week from this point on, and you can catch me in the room, Monday through Friday. Then I also have this Telegram app happening here. We're going to be tracking these trades live. So if I take entry on these levels, so the plan, I guess, would be to map levels out via video early in the week, Sunday night or Monday, right? And then map out the levels. And then as the week goes on, and you're not in the room, or if you're just looking at Telegram, you could potentially take those trades. I will be speaking in context of monthly, weekly, daily on the Telegram group, and then daily and 4 hour execution for swings. All right, I'll repeat that. Monthly, weekly, daily levels. All right, and then kind of daily bar and 4-hour bar execution at these weekly and monthly levels. Okay, and here's the website, or here's the website here. Okay, TailoredTrader.com. You can visit that. Already spending too much time here, a couple of videos, etc. Okay, so you can visit that. And again, here's today the bar we on last Friday. This is Euro USD today, and I actually even after non-farm payroll, although I don't really trade non-farm payroll, I actually did end up just coming to the screen, just catching a pullback long after the non-farm payroll happened. Friday closed as a doji, and I was just taking profits this whole rally up. And then even in my room today, I put a buy entry to add in on intraday longs at 1780, signaled by this kind of arrow right here. It retested the doji price, took it back up to the 1809 weekly price point, right where I exited intraday. You see it up there, 1805s, 1806, 1807s, okay? So exited that, stopped to break even, or stopped to, I think I put my stop right below this last leg in at 97, and it took like a 6-pip give back after taking the trade from down here beginning Friday, and then intraday add in long here, taking profit at that weekly retest level, all right? So day trading, I do the same thing almost, well, I really shouldn't say that, the levels remain the same, right? Because that's a weekly retest, at least for the day. If I'm long, all right, this is still counter trend or counter momentum, right? Nonetheless, so I took, the setup was off that Friday doji bar, all right, and I just took it up to the resistance level, in my book, the 1809, going to be that weekly low from 2 weeks ago, which we retested, okay? So it'll be interesting to see what the euro is going to do. Right now, we're trading in the middle of a doji both ways, okay? So it's pretty interesting. So expect a range here, fairly big range here for the earlier part of the week. Again, if you remember, you can rewind. We are inside bar on the weekly until 1859. So this is all open space up here. And again, just be careful with shorts. Even though if we break below here, we do have a couple levels here. But there is my ultimate target at 1638 Euro USD down here. This is my next full line. Notice how these are broken. These are broken. The full lines are current weekly high lows. Okay, so current low for last week. This is the next kind of target if we do break below these, but it may not be the cleanest short if we do get down here. Okay, I'm almost preferably looking for the longs up here. Okay, so that's Eric here at TailoredTrader.com. Monday through Friday, I trade in the room, and then I have some swing setups here. You can get all that information here at TailoredTrader.com. Trade safe, guys.